really, if you look at this picture right here, and then we'll see you out at the stump, this is really a key picture. And the main thing I have noticed with people's swings for splitting wood is they're using too heavy of an axe, they're using too long of a handle, they're not square to the target, the center of their body and the center line of the axe handle, that's not all lined up. Your nose should be right at your target. The main thing is to really take your arms out of the equation. I know that might sound silly, but most people are all arms. And I've even seen people as they come down, as they come down to about their waist, they're actually pulling themselves up when they need to be flexing their knees and coming down. Because when you're up, it doesn't matter really the length of your handle, you're going to be hitting on the toe. And you're not supposed to hit with the toe. You're supposed to hit with the middle portion of the axe. Maximum force delivered by the majority of the face of the bit. So we're gonna take a look at that out at the stump. And now, we've got the right axe chosen. We've got a splitting profile. It's sharp. It's about 4 pounds. Could be lighter. Could be about 3.5. You don't really need to split wood with an axe. You don't really need a big heavy axe. A big heavy axe is more than likely going to wear you out faster than a small axe. We'll get to the long handle here in a second, but I'm checking the length of my axe. It could be a touch long. The palm of my hand should be at the end, but I think this is a 28. So I'm okay with the 28. We've got a little bit a generous palm swell, so that's added some on there too. But I've got a stick that's basically going to be perpendicular, parallel to the stump, but perpendicular to my target. And I need to arrange this sort of just like a golf swing. When they teach you how to do a golf swing, they put a club down there, and for your stance, you need to stand parallel to the ball, the direction of the ball. So anyway, I'm pretty comfortable with that, and you'll just have to move it up and back to see, how things go. These are just general principles that have worked for me, and I got them from Ben Scott. If you want to look at Ben Scott on YouTube, he sure knows a lot about swinging an axe. Anyway, now I've just seen so many people put arms into it, and I'm not even going to duplicate these swings because my golf teachers used to say that there's no such thing as practice makes perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect results, or something close to that. Anyway, so basically, if you're working against yourself, no matter how good you get at striking your target, you're still going to be working against yourself. The idea is to let gravity and the weight of this do the work. And so basically, your motions are minimal, but setting up that situation to get a good result. So basically, as he's coming up like this, it's almost like that. You're not ducking under it, but you're pushing up with your left hand, or if you're left-handed, you're going the opposite of this. But by the time you get your hands together, you're not way back here. You're just, at a comfortable distance. Now, I'm feeling like I need to move back to hit, or I'm just going to, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to say the center of this stump. And the idea is to get the center of that bit parallel to the striking surface. So if I go like this, I'm toe heavy. So how do you compensate for that? Just flex your knees a little bit. Now if you're using a chopping block, you don't have to flex as much. But it's that drop with your knees that gives it that last bit of power. I've seen so many people try to whip it at the last end with the handles. All you're doing is creating inaccuracy with that. Now there's a lot of people that are really, really good at that. But I would rather let gravity do the work. I'm not in an axe competition, and all I want to do is get through this safely, productively, and feel good about myself at the end of the session. So for now, just work on, and it's in the book, I believe, is it page 79? That's where in Buchanan Smith's book that we sell at the store, you can get it on Amazon too. It's the Axe Handbook. He shows that in a succession of pictures. But basically you're pushing the axe up, you're sort of pulling and pushing, and you're wanting to get to this whole thing where the center of your body is square to your target, and you're coming down like that. That flex is what gives you that power. Same with the golf swing. When you come back, the first thing that happens is you throw your hips that way, and it's that gait motion, because especially with the golf swing, if you're all arms, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to come back and hit the ball. Some people are good at swinging in a strange way, but it's consistency that you're really after. So that's the first element of the swing. There's other techniques like the flick, and other things that you can get into. But right now, I think if you're new to swinging, it's to get an axe that you can manage. Don't make the handle too long. I'll be right back. Let's get an axe with a longer handle. Let's see what's close to 5 pounds. It's on an octagonal Osage orange handle that I did about 3 years ago. It's one of my favorite axes. However, it's not very useful to me, because now let's just look at this logically. The 28 or the 30, I try to stay between 28 and 30. Look how close I am to my workpiece. That's accuracy. As I flex my legs, that's accuracy. I'm literally right over the cut. When you extend the handle, look how far away from this I'm standing. And if I just do the swing that 95% of the people do, hit right in the toe, the longer handle is going to give you a toe strike. Like that, putting undue stress on the handle. Especially since this is a fairly thin handle and it's more meant for chopping, not splitting. So again, armpit to the palm of your hand is going to get you in the ballpark as far as how long you should be. And I know that the taller people are like, oh, I like a long handle, I like a long handle. That's great, but just try a shorter handle. Try the leg flex, the knee flex. And coordinating the flex with the acceleration of the axe head is something that you have to be aware of, and it takes time to coordinate those two things. But once you get it, you pretty much won't go back to just being all arms. Take the arms and the hands out of the equation. once you have those arms on target, then at impact you want your hands to be not super tight. You want them to just hold the axe so it doesn't go jumping out of your hands. But the more relaxed your hands are, the shock wave is going to come through the handle. It's not going, you're not going to stop the shock wave with your hands, and it's going to potentially cause a problem with the handle. The more relaxed your hands can make, the more that the shock wave is going to be mitigated. And then lastly, strategy. That's what I wanted to talk about too. Splitting with an axe has a lot of caveats, cavities, whatever. You need to pick your battles with an axe, because a wood handle only has so many strikes in it, you know, and that could be somebody's lifetime. But if you notice with vintage axes, there's more handleless axes than there are vintage axes with original handles on them. So that ought to really tell you something. If you look at axe heads and you see, like on double bits, how many corners have been busted off, this is just bad swinging. But pick your battles. I mean, if you've got a stump like this that has a big knot here, and we go back to the hickory log that had another branch, it was a co-dominant area of the tree. I cut it off, but all that wood's very dense. You're not going to probably get through that with an axe. So, what are your choices? Get out your maul, or throw it in the pile to get the pneumatic splitter out and split it that way. But to just keep wailing away on a bunch of snotty, dense wood, you're just going to hurt your axe handle. Sometimes that's good. I don't like breaking handles, but breaking a handle is always an opportunity to put a new handle on it and learn something. But just try to be smart about it and be logical about it. And if something's not going right, there are some resources out there. I really highly recommend Buchanan Smith's book, because it at least puts some fundamentals on paper out there. And I see the benefit of what he says in his book by the way I tune my axes up and I balance them. Once you coordinate the balance of the axe and the weight of the axe and the little squat and the acceleration of the axe head, and get your eye on the stump, on your target, and you line it up, it's effortless. You almost don't feel it. Same with the golf swing. If you're swinging right, you don't even feel the golf ball coming off the club. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and there's going to be some more of this. Thoughts come and go, but I just feel like the Timber Pilot, as sharp as it is, and other axes that are going to be coming down the line, we need to all be on the same page with swings and whatnot, because a lot of breakage and a lot of the reasons that people put an axe down is because they're not getting the results they want, and a lot of times the results are directly related to the technique. So let's keep following up and talking about splitting, and we'll get into chopping later on. I hope to have some of my wood pile cut up. I have a log deck here in the urban sprawl of St. Louis. I hope to have some of that cut up this week, and then we can actually be splitting on some stumps, and I'll get some good camera angles on entry of the axe into the wood, and hopefully I can actually do some splitting that's worth putting on camera to illustrate in real time what should be happening. But there's plenty of good axemen on YouTube that you can see that. There's also plenty of bad stuff. So but the book is good. There's also an Axe to Grind, which is a public domain book. You can download that off of the internet, and it covers so much stuff, but it also covers swinging and just what to try for. You know, you're not going to be Paul Bunyan right off the bat. The other thing that I would caution is to take it slow. Just because you see somebody on a YouTube channel tearing it up with an axe does not mean it's easy. You know, a lot of these people that are really good with axes have been doing it their whole lives, and have, you know, it is a part of their lifestyle. So just keep that in mind, and we'll see you on the next bit.